Something for you to ponder. All of your dysfunctional behavior as an adult, and we all have it, so don't get all high horse on me. All of your dysfunctional behavior as an adult is driven by unresolved, unhealed childhood trauma. Here's why. When you, as a child, while you were living under the authority of your caregivers, parents or grandparents or whatever guardian you had, while you were living under their care, if you experienced neglect or abuse, sexual abuse, physical abuse, verbal abuse, neglect, if you had to witness and endure watching somebody else that you cared greatly about being abused or neglected, these things make you feel powerless. And as little kids with little kid brains, you have to find some way to survive this. Sometimes those thoughts are so big and so stressful and so scary that finding a distraction is the only way to deal with it. This is how kids end up drinking, doing drugs, cutting, excessively sexual or sexually active, shoplifting, being in toxic relationships with other people, anything to distract them from the pain. That equals, I'll survive till tomorrow because I'm not going to let this trauma that I'm dealing with squash me. And if that means I have to distract myself from it with this other painful thing, that isn't it really much better, but it's better than that. You know what I mean? And then you carry that behavior all the way into adulthood. So you're living your adult life with substance abuse or with toxic relationships because you don't know any other way. The only other thing that you think that there is to do is to feel the things you're trying not to feel. There is a way to get out of this, and that way is to turn around, stop dead in your tracks, and turn around and face those fucking trauma monsters and put your hand out and say, enough. You're not driving my life anymore. With the help of a good therapist, you can drag those trauma monsters out into the light, and you can face them down, and you can shrink them down into harmless, crappy memories that won't drive you anymore because you won't have anything to run from. And it's a process. If you suffered trauma as a kid, you suffered a lot of it, and it's kind of like you expose this one and you deal with it, and then you don't get to hide behind that bad behavior that was kind of associated with it, and that usually exposes some other trauma that you need to deal with. And you don't have anywhere to hide, so you just got to go in there and get it. But the more times that you turn around and face these motherfuckers and shut them down and learn how to reprocess and heal that stuff so that it doesn't hurt you anymore, you just keep getting stronger. You keep feeling lighter. You keep feeling more powerful. I'm telling you, when you are ready, get in with a therapist and take all those painful memories in your head and pour them out on her floor, his or her floor, like a big box of Legos, and say, here it all is. I need you to help me put this back in some kind of order that I can manage. And it works, and it can help you, and you can feel better, and you can feel more at peace and more centered. Turning around and facing that first trauma monster is hard. It's really hard and scary. But then you realize you can do it, and you're like, well, hell, what's this other thing I'm feeling? Oh, it's another trauma monster. And you turn around, and you grab it by the throat, and you put it on the ground, and you deal with it. And then you're like, well, hell yeah. And then you're going through life and you're feeling lighter and better. And then maybe one day, bam, another box opens up and you feel this other, you start becoming more self-aware of all these things that are going on in you. You're like, ah, yes, Here's another one I got to deal with. All right, well, let's deal with it. And you turn around and you grab that one by the neck and you throw it on the ground and you deal with it. And you just keep getting lighter and lighter, more peaceful and peaceful, more self-aware, feeling more balanced. I'm telling you, this work takes a lot of time out of your day. You got to work at it, but boy howdy, when you start living your life where you're not being weighed down by all the trauma, and the trauma's not driving you and making you want to distract yourself from being up here in your head by anything external you can get a hold of, toxic relationships, substance abuse, whatever. When you start making your mind not a scary place to be, you start wanting to hang out there more because it's peaceful and it's productive, and you can actually think about positive things and constructive things and learn how to grow and be smarter and more self-aware, you know? Do this work. Face your traumas. We've all got them. Nobody escaped childhood without traumas. Whether it was unavailable parents because they were out making millions of dollars, or whether it was alcoholic parents that were beating you down. Everybody came out with trauma. Turn around and face that shit and level up. Take care of yourself. I'll talk to you later.